Leicester,
Okay.
and I lived in an area called Glenfield.
Yeah.
On one side of the street, the other side was Braunston Frith.
Okay.
It's very embarrassing because on Braunston Frith there was a big council estate, and
Yeah.
depending who I was with, I pretended I lived in Braunston Frith, and the other friends, posher friends, I pretended lived in Glenfield. Luckily, our street divided both areas.
That's cool. If you could sum up that time of your life in a sentence, what would it be?
I think I hated it then, but I realised I absolutely loved it. It was the best time of my life.
How come?
Well, so many things changed. I mean, when I look at all the fashions and all the things that I wear now, I don't think my clothing's changed since 1973, 1974. I wrote a book which is entirely about 1972, 1973, 1974. All the music I like, the films I like, the references which I look to are from that period. I think it's got a lot to do with leaving home for the first time and going to art school. It was Loughborough Art School, meeting all my fantastic friends. And also the music seemed really important as well. For example, punk came out. When punk came out, I was quite frightened by it, but I liked it all the same. I used to play, God Save the Queen, It's a Fascist Regime, really quietly on my downset record player upstairs in my bedroom.
Yeah. How did punk have an impact on that period of your life?
Well, at school, we had school discos, and people brought in their own music, and lots of people were bringing in things like the Jam, they were bringing the Sex Pistols. Yeah. Although I'm not sure we were allowed to play the Sex Pistols because they were banned quite,
Yeah.
And but we still played it nevertheless. It was fantastic, and it was the cool people were playing punk music. And then I got a really good chance. I went to Loughborough Art School. Yeah. And the next biggest person to come out was Debbie Harry, and everybody thought she was fantastic. Blondie. Like, it was a big major turning point. Everybody was a girl wanted to be Blondie, quite frankly. Although I looked nothing like her, I did too.
Cool. When did you move to London?
Oh, years later. It wasn't until 1987. I lived in Manchester for a while. I was in Manchester through the Manchester period. I used to go to Factory Records. Yeah. I knew Tony Wilson, actually, because the bloke I was living with, married to, used to work for him at Granada Television, and we used to hang out with the Buzzcocks, who were from the 70s, but they were big friends of ours because one of the brothers went to our art school called Philip Diggle. So we knew Steve Diggle. Yeah. He was a lead guitarist in the band, and we used to hang out with those people in Manchester. And then there was New Order, there was Happy Mondays, and all this. It was like an incredible period. And the Smiths. It was like, that was a period. And at the end of that, came down to London.
When did you meet Johnny Rotten, and more importantly, when did you...
Well, at the heyday of advertising, I used to work with a girl called Ruth Shabby, and she's my teammate. She was a copywriter and I was the art director. Our first job was at Darcy Macy's, Benton and Bowles, and there was a brand new club which had opened up. Just down the road on Dean Street, the Grouchos had opened up, and that was for rich and powerful writers and directors.
Yeah, my dad's a member.
Yeah, and up the road, round the corner on Carlisle Street, was a club called Fred's.
Yeah.
And it was a really great place because there was loads of advertising people, and loads of the people who used to go to Groucho's used to come to Fred's because they thought it was more exciting. Yeah. And it was a small, narrow room with a bar, and everybody used to get crushed. And we had loads of money in those days, and basically, I think I used to spend, and this is back in 1989, 87, like 150 quid or £200 on champagne every Friday night to drink. Anyway, so I met, one night, I met Johnny Rotten there.
Yeah.
And I got a lift home in a taxi with him, and I basically ended up snogging him in a taxi all the way home to his house.
That's amazing. But what was he like? I mean, was he like his stage persona, or was he a bit gentler?
He's a very clever guy. I'm sorry about this. Do you want to carry
on? Yeah.
Do you want to stop or start again?
No, it's all right. We can carry on unless you want to answer it.
Hello? Gail? Okay, can you stand up to the 7th floor, please? Cheers. Bye. Okay, it's a student coming up. Hi. This is Dr. Adrian. You're not going to interview Dr. Adrian later?
Well, where were you during 1974 and 1976?
I was at school.
All right.
Doing bad stuff, I'm sure.
Doing badly.
How old were you then? Were you like in
74 I would have been
teens?
12. 12 years old. I would have
Okay.
been at prep school, and then 1975 I went to a public school after that.
I'll get around to you later.
You're so confident, don't you think?
Yes,
It's all an act.
I'll see you tomorrow, John.
Right, see you later. Yeah, so Johnny Rotten then. Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
the reason he was really nice. I met him a couple of times after that because
Yeah.
the other person I got to know
Yeah.
was a bloke called Paul Tickell, and he's now a film director and documentary maker. And at the time, before that, he was a journalist for the New Musical Express.
Yeah.
And I kind of went out with him on and off. I met him at the same time.
That's neat. Did you get to meet like anyone else in the band, or Susie?
Not really,
Sue,
not
or-
really. No. Well, they came to Fred's occasionally, but I never
Yeah.
knew them. But they were always the star characters who came in.
Yeah.
So the Freds was a place where punk bands. Vivian Albertine of the Slits, she came to Fred's quite a lot. I've met her.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and one of my friends, well, not really a friend because she was a bit older than me, but when I went to drama school, yeah, her dad, she's actually Paul Cook's daughter.
Right.
Yeah, and so she's now in like the kind of new revamped version of the Slits.
Right. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, it'd be great if you could meet Vivian Albertine, wouldn't it? I could work on it.
definitely.
So Johnny Rotten was he's a really clever person. He's very, very funny.
Yeah.
And I think he was being interviewed for a film about punks by this guy I'm talking about, Paul Tickell. And that's the reason I met him.
That's incredible.
Hello, please come in.
How are you?
All right, fine, thank you. Great to see you.
Same.
I'm just being interviewed about 1976. I can remember that far back.
Hi.
Hey.
I don't sit down.
Oh, no, actually, you know what? I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm sitting.
Gail, can you fill out this form?
Yeah.
I've lost it. I'll just print another one out. I might have to leave early again. I'm really sorry.
That's
But you're okay. You're not going to be.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you can fill out as much as you can
Yep.
on this, it's £100 again. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
But like next time, we'll get you to come in more often.
Okay. I've got some news.
What?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Where?
Paris.
Wow. What are you going to do?
I'm transferring.
Bigger, better job.
Similar, same role, but slightly different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in an interview now. I've got to finish this off. Sorry.
So are you still in contact with Johnny Rotten?
No, I'm not. I don't have his telephone number. Except we did park outside his house where he lived, but I can't remember where that is.
If you messaged him on Facebook and said who you were, do you think he could maybe do a guest lecture?
I think we should try. My PhD actually needs to meet Johnny Rotten, so let's have a go.
Okay. Yeah, you message him and I will, and
Yeah.
we'll kind of like harass him.
Yeah, excellent. Okay.
Um,
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
He's very funny, very clever.
I would love to meet him. I'd literally sell my right arm to meet him.
You're not going to do that.
No. I don't think I'd get very much.
Well, just don't do it. Don't even think about it.
Oh, sorry. Where did I get to? Yeah, so you've met Johnny Rotten. Did you see the Bill Grundy episode on telly, and what was your reaction?
It's hilarious. I mean, nobody, back then. I mean, I feel sorry for Bill Grundy because he got fired. He didn't need to get fired for that. I mean, he was just trying it on because he just thought, And it's a very funny episode. I'm sorry. Didn't his career end because of that? Yeah. It was hilarious.
Oh, I love it, but he wasn't very nice, and
No.
the way they acted, because, I mean, not the Sex Pistols, but what they did is they supplied them with all this drink before they went on.
Right.
They kept them waiting in the green room forever.
Right. To try and annoy them.
Like
Okay.
hours, yeah. And so by that point they were hammered, and so was he. And so of course it was going to blow up. They only got themselves to blame, really.
They have. But it's a great idea. You should do a film about that episode.
I'd
Just
love
call it
to.
Bill Grundy.
I wish I could do like a video, dissertation rather than a boring old essay.
Well, do that on that moment.
Okay.
You could do that. You could do a dissertation on that easily. But then you could talk about the cultural impact of punk and all that stuff. It'd be great.
Yeah.
That's a great dissertation for a project. Go for it.
All right.
Yeah. The cool thing. Yeah, brilliant. Well, so we're going to have a dissertation next year on Bill Grundy getting the Sex Pistols to say fuck off. That's going to be a dissertation next year from Katie. Well, a great idea, don't you think?
I think, Katie, you need to be putting all of your ideas in because you're going to have too many. So next year.
Yeah.
Olive, where's it gone?
Oh,
Your stage.
and I need to bring it back in. Yeah,
How's it looking?
It's looking pretty good. I've got it at the makeshift theatre.
You're enjoying
For a
working in the
reason.
shed, aren't you?
Yeah, it's
We should make
great.
that like an official work zone. If you do people like that.
I feel really inspired in there. Sorry, Joe. Yeah. So, did you ever see the Sex Pistols live, and what was that like?
I didn't.
Oh,
I haven't seen them. I'm really sorry. Have you seen the Sex Pistols live, Steve?
I had saw the Sex Pistols live in 1978.
You need to ask him about
yeah. I'm
Live.
interviewing you as well.
it.
I want to get as many interviews
Okay.
as possible. Sorry. And did you ever buy clothes at Sex?
No, I didn't. I wanted. No, I was a bit. But I tell you what, we did do because of the punks
Yeah.
at college, 1979.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Nidge, we did a dance with no clothes on except for bin liners dancing around a statue
Oh my god.
in homage to the Sex Pistols.
Where did you wear the bin liners?
Just
if you
over,
don't mind me?
basically, we had to do a dance performance. Dance.
Bloody hell. That sounds cool.
I know, but we had to do that for our degree. We had to do performance art.
Well, now you've given me another idea.
When I say naked, I mean I wasn't naked. We had bin liners, but like bare legs and feet.
Covering everything. Because I'm not that desperate for a no that I'd do that.
No. But if you can imagine, in the 70s, we had to do that to get a degree.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
What other music did you like?
70s. Well, I liked early 70s. I really liked David Bowie, of course, and
Yeah.
T-Rex. David Bowie was everything. But then suddenly,
What do you mean inside?
1980, 81,
Yeah.
my secret admission of guilt, I loved Duran Duran. I think they're fantastic. Great disco stuff. Great. And it was just a completely different period. It seemed like from one period everybody was poor and then everybody was rich for a while. Like the spell. People weren't rich. It's just that I'd got into advertising and hanging out with rich people. I think.
Is there still as much money in advertising as there was back then?
No, well, it's in different areas. I think you can earn lots and lots of money.
What area?
Well, if you own your own advertising agency, that's always a good idea. It still is. It's a great. I tell you what's great about advertising. It's really good because it actually teaches you how to write stories, make films,
Yeah.
talk to people, communicate, act, the whole lot.
I can't wait. That's why I want Minnie to do advertising as well, because then we can be like Grub and Grub, our agency.
Oh, I spoke to her on the phone. Did she tell you?
You spoke to Minnie.
Yeah,
Oh wow! What
at
did
the
she think
weekend.
of
I
her?
said I'd ring her. I haven't rung her yet. I forgot, but I will. She's going to come in, isn't she?
Yeah, she's so excited. Me too.
Cool.
It feels like National Bring Your Sister In Day.
Could do that.
Yeah, you will love her. She is awesome. Sorry. What was the craziest outfit you ever wore during that time?
Now, the craziest things I talked about bin liner, and when I really started to dress up, I suppose I used to wear like mini suits, like really high up with fur and stuff like that. Fishnet stockings and things like that. When I was glamorous and thin.
Oh, stop it. You're still glamorous and thin. Sorry, I'm just making sure I've got 7 minutes. Sorry, I'm going to have to... I'm just going to have to do the next stop quite quick. How did your parents react to the punk movement?
My mum thought it was shocking and terrible, but not too
Yeah.
bad, because she always laughed about it as well. She had quite a good sense of it. My mum was kind of slightly badly behaved, and so she always liked it. She loved music in the 70s. She thought that was the best era.
Yeah.
She did, basically the 70s was great. There was punk and there was Electric Light Orchestra, who were great, and there's a ska music. There was Led Zeppelin. There's David Bowie. There's there's even the Seekers. I don't know. There's like I think Seekers like the 70s as well, really. And of course there's Blondie. Fantastic stuff.
Just gonna go to my last. Sorry, I'm just gonna go to my last one. I don't want it to cut off in the middle of. What are there any movements that you think wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the punk movement?
For real, yeah?
It's hard to say, but the punk precipitated. Yeah, well, it was a long time coming because the 1970s was a very hard period. People were really, 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 really broke.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a documentary the other day, Johnny Rock was coming on, so basically people were so poor, it didn't matter, you weren't going to get a job anyway, so actually they realised they could pursue their dreams, become rock and roll artists and stuff like that. And they represented a lot of people who were really, 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 really fed up. I think they magnified it, and horribly, because of them, Margaret Thatcher got into power for 18 years. So, like, the inverse happened. Or was it? It was a bit of the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
They represented a lot of anger because a lot of people were being really treated really, really badly. But when Margaret Thatcher got into power, it was a bad thing, but it was a good thing because a lot of artists came out. It basically galvanised a lot of artists into doing what they did to put up a resistance movement. And some great, 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 great music and art came out of it.
Do you hate Margaret Thatcher?
I do. Does that sound really boring?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know. Everyone's got a strong opinion, whether it's positive or negative. But sorry, this is kind of ending it a bit abruptly. But thank you very, very much.
No, I hate Margaret Thatcher. Did she do any... she was the first female Prime Minister. I remember being very worried about that, how to think about that, because she was. So I had to admire for that. I was thinking, Christ, of all the things, first time we get this person, which is horrific. So, but then, any doubts about that were taken away. She destroyed whole communities and she treated them extremely badly. I mean, so appallingly badly. 1984 miners' strike. I was there. I was actually my first advertising agency, which was called Brunnings in Manchester. And the people, no money, no nothing, and being treated like dirt. I mean, really, it's really very bad.
It's hard because I didn't live through it, so I'm kind of, getting
You need to talk to me again about that. I know this period quite well. Come back when we're a bit more comfortable. We're just rushed. I've got to get...
Sure. And this has been fantastic, and in a way, it being rushed, it means that I get to
think about it.
Yeah.
Come back again with some more questions.
Sorry, Joe. Is that my planner? Oh yeah, because I left that. I left that before.
Do you want a fiver?
Thanks. I was worried that I'd left it in the canteen or somewhere, but thank you ever so much.
Can we do that?